Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Patriots Clubhouse Award Ceremony. As we have already concluded with the regular season and the postseason, as we transition into the offseason, we want to give some recognition to some of our players and coaches, and yes, some of the members in the front office. As always, I am your host, DTN, aka Dow, and I got Thomas and Andy with me. So, regardless of whatever is going on with YouTube right now, how are your boys' days?
Fucking fantastic. Thank God I got a fucking computer that actually fucking works.
There you go.
Hold on. Be right back.
While we're waiting for Thomas, how are you doing, Andy?
I am fine. Yeah, can't complain. Nothing new, nothing, same old, had to work today. So
I'm back. So you see this piece you see this piece of shit right here?
Yes.
I've been suffering with this white PC for almost like 2, 3, 4 years now. And it spazzes out. And you know what I'm gonna do with it? Get the fuck out. You are not needed.
Yeah, I understand how, especially when you have like a shitty piece of device that has been finicky. You obviously do not want a shitty product that is going to give you issues when it comes to streaming, and we've dealt with that throughout our entire streams and whatnot, and we try our best to give you the best quality of content with good quality streaming and whatnot. But go back to what you were saying, Andy, regardless of that.
No, I'm fine. It was basically an ordinary day for me. I'm sorry. Maybe I don't want to do this. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry I haven't been following the off season that much. But yeah, it'll be exciting to discuss player awards from this now past season.
Okay, so for some reason I cannot read the chat through StreamYard, so I will read the chat through my other account. So forgive me, but this is what I hear. First thing I hear joining the stream is Thomas cussing at me. What the fuck? Oh, come on, Tyler. We would never do you dirty like that, for goodness sakes. But
first and foremost, I cuss for this computer. Because this piece of shit just gave me hell for 2 to 3 years. Fuck Windows, and I'm happy that I got an Acer Chromebook that can actually fucking function.
Yep. By the way, guys, I gotta leave for a brief moment, but before we get started with this whole entire damn thing, please make sure that as you come in, smash the like button, hit subscribe. It's completely free and helps us support the channel. Share this with your friends. Interact with us in the chat. Anybody who is currently watching this stream, please post in your options on who has been the best, who has been the worst, who has improved, who has not, all sorts of that. And I'll list off every single thing. But before we get started with our award ceremony, Thomas, if you may do, please give us a rundown of why our Patriots players should get credit, even though the NFL Honors has done sometimes a shitty job with how they distribute the awards. And
I don't know how to explain this, honestly, because I am not going to go complete bias on any means necessary.
Sorry, I left for a brief second. I was trying to do a B-reel, but yeah. So basically, the reason why I decided to create an award ceremony live stream is because our Patriots players deserve a lot of credit for this. We, based off of what they did throughout the regular season and the postseason, has been lights out. No one has seen. All of us expected us to be done after the regular season, or at least done in the first round. But would you agree with me, Andy, that this Patriots team and this Patriots coaching staff have done wonders? And in spite of this conspiracy with the whole easy schedule, but do you think that the players, the coaches have done a great job compared to the last two seasons?
Yeah, I 100% believe that, Dow. I mean, with a roster that was ranked according to quote experts at the beginning of the season as close to the bottom of the league. I mean, yeah, and even now it's like, yeah, we arguably did not have a wide receiver one. We had entire left side of the line was rookies. The only offensive lineman who would, first team offensive lineman who'd been here before was Mike Onwenu. So yeah, considering what we had, I mean, Hunter Henry was here, but he's an aging tight end. And Mondre had left a bad taste in the mouths of a lot of Pats fans. So yeah, I think this coaching staff did the best they could with the tools they had. I mean, obviously kind of fell apart in the Super Bowl. Let's just, if I can make an aside, I can't even find words here. If I can just throw something out there, I did not expect to see what happened in the Super Bowl, but hey, when you got a rookie left side of your offensive line, it happens. And the quarterback can't find open receivers, but I digress. Yeah, the coaching staff, especially, my personal MVP is Mike Vrabel. I've been saying that for weeks. I mean, people want to call it Drake May or Josh McDaniels. I'm like, you don't have that year 2 leap from Drake May without a combination of Vrabels and McDaniel, singular. So yeah, yeah, they were given not the best tools, and they, a 14-3 season, which I didn't see coming. I don't think anybody on this panel did. There you go. And a deep playoff run to boot. Yeah, this is, depending on how the draft goes, there could be another deep playoff run next year. I mean, there's this talk about, the Pats will fall back to 5 or 6 wins. It's like, fuck you. I mean, not so long as Vrabel doesn't go completely incompetent. I don't know if you guys saw this. Zach Core is no, Thomas, you posted this. Zach Core is now officially the defensive coordinator.
Yep, it is confirmed that Zach Core is the full-time defensive coordinator for the Patriots.
There you go. So yeah, I think this is going to be an exciting offseason. Oh, you're muted.
Yep, you're muted.
Thank you. Sorry. So as I was saying, yeah, since you already gave us your MVP, Andy, I do agree that it should be Mike Vrabel. Everyone is going to say it's Drake May, or it's Christian Gonzalez, or it's Spencer Williams. Mike Vrabel deserves some of the credit because he did something that, unfortunately, Bill Belichick and Gerard Mayo failed to do. Being able to lead a young group of men who basically have to adapt through a new generation of players. Belichick couldn't do that. Gerard Mayo is basically an extension of what Belichick is. Mike Vrabel, even though he's coming off through like the coaching tree of Belichick, even though it was more of a coach and player connection, Mike Vrabel is a different breed. There is no doubt that he should be MVP. There is a reason why he was Associated Press Coach of the Year. So I give huge props to Mike Vrabel. And especially when I was scared to death when I thought Mike Vrabel would go to the Jets. Thankfully, that was just so that
you You were really afraid. Sorry to cut you off. You were really afraid he'd go to the Jets.
Yes, because they already fired Robert Saleh. We still had Gerard May at the time, and Mike Vrabel was going to be the hottest coaching candidate.
Oh, you're talking about back in 24.
Okay. Yes, back in 24. But I think Mike Vrabel deserves the flowers that he deserves. But from your perspective, Thomas, who do you think is the MVP in your eyes?
It's Mike Vrabel. He did like people say it's going to be Drake May. Like honestly, Drake have a great season, but he did play terrible in the Super Bowl, which it just regressed here. But he didn't have a good year. But nobody had a great year in 2025 than Mike Vrabel. His first season as a coach, 17 wins under the belt. That is the most wins compared to the 2 seasons combined. And if I want to be brutally honest with this one, Vrabel has made this football team way more different in a significant way possible. Switch their team culture for what Bill Belichick has produced, and Gerard Mayo, who is not even prepared to be a coach, from a team that is not a resort for free agents to a free resort for free agents for 2026. And now we just made it to the Super Bowl, which I'm damn surprised that we made it that far this season with the team we had. Now free agents really want to play for the Patriots under Vrabel and crew. I mean, Vrabel deserves its flowers. I don't think there's anyone deserve MVP more than Vrabel.
Agreed. Definitely agreed. By the way, I think YouTube is back in working function, Thomas. So I think that it should be. I think StreamYard and YouTube should be in line with one another with when it comes to reading the chat and whatnot. But yeah, here's my MVP. It has to go to it has to go to Mike Vrabel. No debate on that, because Mike Vrabel knew what the Patriots need. And basically, from what I remember, before he got hired as the Patriots head coach, Mike Vrabel told in an interview with Robert Kraft in some house in Chestnut Hill that he knew the plan. He basically knew what the Patriots need, how they're going to help Drake May develop properly, how they're not going to kill their franchise quarterback after what we did with Mac Jones. So in a way that what Mike Vrabel did has been completely impressive. You cannot debate on how much work that Mike Vrabel has done to make sure that we have a good quality team. Something that Belichick could not construct. Something Gerard Mayo could not construct. So, Mike Vrabel he revamped, basically rehauled the entire coaching staff. 50% of the personnel of the roster, and with zero expectations, taking a team to the playoffs, obviously making the playoffs, but winning the division title, more importantly, prying away from the Buffalo Bills, saying that this is my division title. We regained it. Then taking the team to the Super Bowl in spite of wonders with they went up against shitty offenses while going up against great defenses. So I give Mike Vrabel all the flowers. Obviously, you can say that, it's the easiest schedule, but you have to take advantage of a easy schedule by having a great team, having a great coaching staff, being able to properly develop Drake May. And yeah, I think that this team has done wonders, especially what we did with Drake May. And everybody in the chat can write out who is the MVP in your eyes. Is it Mike Vrabel? Is it Drake May? Is it Christian Gonzalez? Is it yada, yada, yada? Type it out in the comment section below. Or if you're watching the stream, type it out in the chat. We would love to hear your options. So let's move on to the next award. And I know I have your list, Andy, but explain to us who and why is this candidate your offensive player of the year? Take it away, sir.
I gotcha. So I know you also mentioned comeback player of the year, but I have to make my offensive player of the year Stephon Diggs. You're talking the first 1,000-yard receiver since Julian Edelman in 2019. He was, he kind of he had the reputation as a journeyman. He got unceremoniously dumped by Buffalo, tore his ACL with Houston through, I think it was 7 games, and was on course for like a third straight 1,000-yard season. He was the guy, coming into the 25-26 season. Nobody wanted him. Vrabel said, I'll take a flyer on this guy, and it worked. Inexplicably, we didn't see him much in some of the playoff games. I just don't know why. It was, a lot of Mondre, a lot of Booty. I think there was a little bit of Kyle Williams in there. Obviously, some Trevion Henderson. We didn't see too much Steph Diggs, and that was just – there were times I thought that he should have been on the field like the second half of that second Buffalo game because he was lights out the first game against Buffalo. If I can pull those stats up. Stephon Diggs.
I have his stats if you need it.
All right, thank you. If you got them, you can read them off. The week 5 stats.
For 2025, he had 4 touchdowns. Hold on, let me pull up the ESPN.
Week 5 stats specifically.
Oh, week 5? Okay.
Correct.
Week 5 stats against Buffalo. Week 5 stats. Obviously I don't rely on AI. Let's take a look at so Buffalo. So he had 10 receptions out of 12 targets for 146 yards, 14.6 per average. Unfortunately, 0 touchdowns, but the longest catch was 32 yards.
A long of 32 yards. Yeah, I mean, he did. I just pulled up his full season stats, 1,000 yards. He did only have 4 touchdowns, which I think is low, which probably is low for a 1,000-yard receiver. But hey, when you've got a quarterback who can spread the ball around like Drake May can, that's no surprise. So yeah, it's got to be Steph Diggs when I think about it. Yeah, he's obviously, like I said, there were, you had a rookie running back, you had a veteran running back, you had Hunter Henry, you had Austin Hooper, who wound up not doing that much. Kyle Williams, whom I do want to see more out of this coming season. But yeah, all things considered, it's got to be Steph Diggs for Offensive Player of the Year.
Agreed. I have no idea where Thomas is, so I'll get to mine immediately. So here is my Offensive Player of the Year, and it has to be Drake May. I get it that Stephon Diggs has been really impressive, but Drake May has been looking impressive this season. It was going to be a huge season for Drake May, allowing Drake May to spread the ball to various receivers and not having a wide receiver one has been really impressive. Nelson is saying offensive player is Kayshon Boutte. That explains it before the injury. It is granted that he looked really well. But the reason why I say Drake May is because he is able to make these players look good, being able to elevate some of these receivers that no one has ever heard of. Like, he elevated an aging Matt Collins, a guy coming back from an injury, Stephon Diggs, a 6th-round pick in Kayshon Boutte, a 6th-round pick in Pop Douglas, an undrafted rookie in Efton Chisholm, a 3rd-round pick in Kyle Williams, an old Hunter Henry, an old Austin Hooper, with an offensive line that looked a lot better, and obviously you have the run game. Drake May was able to do all that, especially going up against the tough defenses, like the Browns defense, which had the best at the time, had the best number one defense. You also went up against the best passing defense in the Atlanta Falcons. You had by far going up a. Yeah, I think the defenses have been looking. They are either bad or not good, but sometimes when he went up against the best defenses, he is able to learn from his mistakes. Yes, he shit the bed in the beginning, but in the end, he at least were able to realize what mistakes he made and be able to come back from it. And I think that's a lot of growth, especially for a quarterback who is like 23 years old. So, yeah, here's our offensive player of the year. And I think that if Thomas is back, which I don't know if he is, we can shift over to defensive player of the year possible. Let's shift over to okay, Thomas is back. So
I was trying to find my TV remote. That's why I turned my camera off.
Okay, understandable. But do you have your offensive player of the year?
Drake May. With the weapons, with you got he almost played with nothing at this point. Like you have Stephon Diggs, you got freaking Booty, you got limited playmakers out there. He almost played with nothing. So he played a fantastic season, his second season at this point. So I know people say Diggs, but that's going to another award that I would put that fits right for me. So I would say it's going to be Drake May for Offensive Player of the Year for the Patriots.
Okay, interesting. Obviously, Nelson said Kayshon Boutte. Kayshon Boutte, he did look better. I would say we could get to the next awards later, but I think yes, Kayshon Boutte is a perfect candidate to be an Offensive Player of the Year. But let's now shift over to Defensive Player of the Year. And oh my gosh, we got a lot of good candidates for Defensive Player of the Year. But like usual, starting with you, Andy, who is your Defensive Player of the Year? And you're muted.
My Defensive Player of the Year is Christian Gonzalez. I gotta say this because, yeah, we talked about him headed into the Super Bowl. I think it's like, okay, or should the Patriots, give Gonzo the bag? Is he worth keeping on? Is he a Vrabel guy? Yada, yada, yada. He had the game-saving pick against the Broncos and was the reason the Seahawks did not drop 40 on us in the Super Bowl. That guy is the real fucking deal at cornerback, and he needs help, which is why I think, outside of defensive end and right tackle, cornerback should be. I think you and I talked about free agent corners that we could possibly bring in. I don't know. I'm not sure if we thought it'd be a better idea to take one through the draft. But yeah, Gonzo's got to be my Defensive Player of the Year. Right? He stepped up when he needed to, he stepped up when he needed to in the postseason. Yeah, he wasn't that great in the regular season at all, and his only pick was that one against Denver. But if you can pull up, I think he had like a boatload of pass breakups, if I'm not mistaken. If you have that in front,
Christian Gonzalez he's meant to be your ball hawker. Obviously, that not all cornerbacks are going to get a crap load of interceptions.
So yeah, if you get somebody to help him in the backfield, either another, I don't want to say another Craig Woodson, but if you get him help at safety or corner, I think your secondary could be, close to top of the NFL next season if you get a compliment to Gonzo.
Okay, so I looked it up, and he had 54 total tackles.
Okay.
What else? 10 pass deflections. I don't know what.
Okay.
I don't know what STF stands. Oh, one stuff. So that's good. So it has one stuff. What else? 15 assisted, and obviously in the postseason. Let me find the postseason. He had 7 pass deflections, a half for a stuff, 1 interception, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, 15 solo tackles, 4 assisted.
Yeah,
That's
he was. Yeah, he was like the defensive MVP of the AFC playoffs. I mean, played complete lights out. Like I said, the only reason we didn't get 40 hung on us by Seattle. Without him, that's not a 29-13 game. It's a 45-13 game.
That was really impressive. How about
what?
you? What were you talking about earlier? I forgot.
Who, me?
Yeah, I got a little. I may have briefly made an off-topic comment, so I forget. I forgot something. I forgot.
No, I just said that without Gonzo in that Super Bowl, it's not 29-13, it's 45.
Oh, yes. Agreed,
it's not that important.
Agreed. If Gonzo was not present, or if Gonzo played bad, it would have been a blowout. But thankfully, he limited this team to like at least 7 points, because that other 6 points was from the defense, and obviously holding them to at least 4 to 5 field goals. But let's get to Thomas's defensive player of the year. Muted.
Yeah, thank you. My defensive player of the year is Carlton Davis. Because I'm sorry, I know people are gonna say it's Gonzalez. Yeah, but he has been injured most of the season. But guess who wasn't injured for the most few games? Carlton Davis. At this point, he is a valuable player on the corner position, even though he has regressed because of injury. He put up better stats than Gonzo, in my opinion. I'm sorry. Even though he tied with total tackles. But the pass deflections, same. However, he has been a consistent corner when Gonzalez was out. And I've been saying this throughout the review shows. Because if Gonzalez keeps regressing, then I don't know. And I've been saying Carlton Davis has been playing way better than Gonzalez does. It's not an overstatement. It's a fact. I'm sorry. I just feel like Carlton Davis is a great addition to this defense with the corner depth we have.
He's definitely. I do agree in a sense that he is definitely an upgrade over Marco Wilson. Definitely an upgrade over Jonathan Jones. Definitely an upgrade over. I hate to say this, Alex Austin. I'm sorry, man. He's still on the squad, but I think he's a huge upgrade over these guys that I lifted off. Here's my defensive player of the year: Milton Williams or Robert Spillane. In a sense that these are 2 great additions that we got through free agency. Milton Williams, no one talks about Milton Williams. Everybody talks about Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter when it came to the Philadelphia Eagles, and no one mentioned Milton Williams until that Super Bowl 59, which we all enjoyed, especially when Milton Williams pancaked Patrick Mahomes. A beautiful sight to see. And especially Milton Williams has been really essential, especially when Mike Vrabel's philosophy when it comes to the defense is how to stop the run. And when Milton Williams is present, he is able to stop the run. Go ahead.
I did state that Milton Williams is a most underrated defensive tackle in the NFL. And we signed him to a 4-year, $104 million contract, which he literally deserved that contract after what he has done this season.
Which, by the way, the contract that you mentioned, that's more than what Tom Brady has earned throughout his entire career. What Tom Brady has given throughout his time as a Patriots. That is the most That's the biggest contract we've ever given to a Patriot player. That says a lot when you give him 4 years, 104 per year. And I love Milton Williams. And I think that he is going to be a future Patriots Hall of Famer, depending on how well he does throughout the rest of his season. If we give him a contract extension, he's well deserved, especially when he has experience of making the Super Bowl, of doing well in the playoffs, especially with the Philadelphia Eagles from his time from 2021 to 2024. So at least we have some playoff experience with Milton Williams, and I really appreciate it. Next up, boys, most valuable rookie of the year. And we have a lot of rookies we can list off of. But from your eyes, Andy, who is your most valuable rookie of the year?
Rookie of the year. Wow. Rookie of the year, I've got to go. Oh, jeez. It's a toss-up between Trevion Henderson and Craig Woodson. I mean, I can't really pick. When push comes to shove, I'd probably have to go Craig Woodson. I mean, when we picked him, I was like, I know a lot of Pats fans were really like a safety in the 4th round. We've got Duggar and Peppers, and we know, of course, what Vrabel did with them. Out the window you go. And Carlton Davis, Craig Woodson, like, really. Oh gosh, I have to look up stats here. I'm sorry.
I have his stats if you need
sure?
to.
Okay. Yeah, and he played quite admirably at safety this season alongside.
To look at his stats, he had 42 solo tackles, 37 assists. He had 2 forced fumbles recovered. He had 3 pass deflections, 2.5 stuffs. And then in the postseason, he had 1 fumble recovery, 1 interception, 6 pass deflections, and 6 stuffs.
Wow. Yeah, for a rookie safety, that's, if I'm not mistaken, that's like really good. And he played admirably opposite, I think it was Carlton Davis.
No, Jalen Hawkins.
Opposite
his
who?
Former Jalen Hawkins.
Oh, Hawkins. That's right. Thank you. So Hawkins would have been
He would have been the free safety, while Craig Woodson would have been a strong.
Woodson's the strong. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, and how many picks do you have again, Dow? Couple.
Only 1, and during
only 1. Okay.
Against CJ Stroud.
So his only pick was against Stroud in the playoffs. Wow.
But yeah. How about you, Thomas? Who is your rookie of the year?
Trevion Henderson, because I've been hyping this motherfucker since the draft. Because he the dude, like I get he hasn't been used a lot in this season, but when he's been used correctly, when you run him on the outside routes, not inside to the gut, he's a dangerous guy. And he's a dangerous pass catcher. He's a dangerous run pass blocker. But the dude, probably have a better chance of a run blocking running back than any other offensive lineman, like fucking Federico Lowe, who's trash. So I say Trevion Henderson, in my opinion.
Interesting options. I'm actually gonna throw a curveball at you. Here's my rookie player of the year.
What?
Elijah Ponder.
Huh?
And here's why. No one anticipated why Elijah Ponder would ever join the 53-man roster, and especially for an undrafted free agent out of Cal Poly. Here are his stats. He had 14 solo tackles, 10 assisted, 4 sacks. That's more than Abdul Carter. He had 2 fumble recoveries for 18 yards. What says about an undrafted rookie player out of a school that is not like toutably popular within the world of college football? And so Elijah Ponder, I I think a couple people were like high on him, and I thought that he would have been like drafted, but surprisingly, Elijah Ponder was not even drafted, and he had more than Abdul Carter, the 3rd overall pick in the 2025 NFL draft. Let me look up Carter. Let's take a look at Abdul Carter and see what his stats compared. 4 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries. So that's equals to Abdul Carter. Embarrassing. How can an undrafted free agent have the equal amount of stats to the 3rd overall pick in the 2025 NFL draft? That says a lot. And I'm telling you, Elijah Ponder is going to be huge when it comes to the depth of our pass rushing crew. Obviously, we need a bona fide pass rusher. And I feel like we could get those in the draft, but especially when Elijah Ponder stepped up, this is going to be huge when teams are going to be looking to pry on some of our players. But if Elijah Ponder continues to pop off and be that rotational guy and be the depth piece that he is, there's no mind in doubt that he will be a future pass rusher for the team. That says a lot about a guy coming out of Cal Poly and undrafted. And I thought he would have been drafted somewhere. Impressive. But let's get to comeback player of the year. Somebody who came back either from an injury or a bad performance. So, Andy, since you said it's easy, give it away, Thomas.
Stephon Diggs. He came back from an injury from last season, from a ACL injury, and guess what? Nobody thought Stephon Diggs would ever fucking come back, and literally just played what he has played, 1,000 yards. Hold on, let me freaking pull up the stats. Let me pull up the.
I have the stats.
No, yeah, but I got it.
85 receptions for 1K yards, 4 touchdowns, 11.9 average.
Yeah, thanks. Like nobody thought that Stephon Diggs would ever get to that far when he had that bad the ACL come back from an ACL injury. So I say that's an easy pick for me. Nobody deserves it more, in my opinion, for a Patriots player than Diggs.
Andy?
Yeah, I don't blame you, Thomas, for picking him. I didn't see anybody else I could pick for offensive player of the year, so I had to go Diggs. I just took a look at Ramondre's stats. I can't really call him a comeback player of the year. I mean, I guess it's got to be Carlton Davis. Again, played admirably as a cornerback after an injury. How long was he sidelined for last year again? I don't even remember.
I think it was since that Buffalo game where the Lions lost. So that was like week 15 of the 2024 season.
Carlton Davis 2024. He played 17 games. Wow.
But he had that jaw injury from what I remember.
Right, exactly. 2024, he had 42 tackles, no sacks, 2 picks, and 2 forced fumbles. In 2025, that went to, let me get him here, 39 tackles for a loss, no sacks, no picks, and no forced fumbles. And
again, he had 2 interceptions in the postseason.
In the postseason, he also had 10 passes. Great, 10 passes defended on the regular across 18 regular season games. I think it was 17, but hey, and 21 plus tackles. So, oh boy, he could have, honestly, I bashed him a lot of the regular season, Carlton Davis, but you are right, Thomas. He played he did play admirably given that injury history.
I told you so. I told you so.
And you were right all along. You were right all along. There's some scrutiny when it comes to comeback player of the year, but Nelson gave us the most interesting comeback player of the year, Morgan Moses, especially when he has a longevity of history with injuries, especially with the screwball Jets, who, by the way, have the worst turf in the history of turfs. No one can debate that. The MetLife Stadium is the worst, and Milton Williams had dealt through a shit ton of injuries. So I can see where Morgan Moses can be a candidate for comeback player of the year. He is actually my comeback player of the year. Carlton Davis is a good option. Stephon Diggs is the biggest option. But if I want to go separate, it has to be Christian Barmore. Christian Barmore, especially when he has dealt with blood clots, and there was so much unknown for what his season will look like. Granted, he had 1 sack, but the way the team managed Christian Barmore last year was completely unacceptable. And what Mike Vrabel did with this year, monitoring what Christian Barmore's status will be like regarding his blood clots history, he has been, obviously it wasn't like the best, but he has been really essential when it comes to like the pass rush, the run defense, which is really impressive. And there is a reason why Christian Barmore has been really essential to this team. Granted that he has some off the field issues, and granted that I'm a little worried. Granted that he has a case coming up soon, and obviously we want him to be well and not guilty of some sort of allegations that we're not going to discuss. But he has been essential for this defense. No matter of doubt. Let's now get to most underrated player of the year. Starting with you, Andy. You're muted.
It was between, for me, Craig Woodson and Garrett Bradbury. And since Craig Woodson took my rookie of the year, I got to give it to Garrett Bradbury. I got to say, I knew we needed a center after David Andrews got unceremoniously cut. I was like, okay, Vrabel, what are you doing? And we signed Bradbury back in March. He was a, oh geez, I'm fighting for words
The thing with Garrett Bradbury is that
like he's what, injury prone?
No, I'm fighting for words here. He was a pillar of that offensive line.
Well, you're trying to say that Vikings rejected him because they valued Ryan Kelly over him, and we got him as a cast off.
Exactly. And he was absolutely a pillar of that offensive line all season long. Okay. Oh, jeez, Garrett.
Do you have his PFF stats or?
Yeah, I got okay. Yeah. That's weird. Okay, if I go to Jesus Christ. If I go to PFR, so
finding stats for an offensive line is not easy.
No, it's not. I've done it, but like all I have is a bunch of freaking zeros here. So what the heck? So yeah, if you could get like actual stats for him for me, that'd be awesome.
Okay, let me look up Garrett Bradbury stats. This is gonna be a nightmare. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Security verifications.
Let me go to PFF if I can.
Oh my gosh.
Be a problem picking an offensive lineman.
Yeah,
Whatever.
it's PFR doesn't have like stats for
So
Yeah.
here I go.
And just to let you know, YouTube's back. YouTube's back on here. It's no longer crashing.
Naturally, it's making me sign in. Ugh. So, Thomas, why don't I throw this to you while I pull this up?
But underrated player, for fuck's sake. Unfortunately, I was gonna give it to. Unfortunately, I only my candidate was unfortunately I literally give it to defensive player of the year, which is Milton Williams. So instead, I had to say Craig Woodson because of those same reasons of why he's the freaking rookie of the year in the first place. I mean, a consistent defensive back, in which I'm looking at you, Dow, for fucking double downing frickin' Woodson.
I'm sorry. I just felt like the value pick for getting Woodson was
Fuck value, dude. Fuck value. We need depth. We need fucking depth in the defensive back position. And that's what Craig Woodson delivered on the table. He played significantly better than what I had hoped for. He played a significant good game of football on defense, pass deflections, interceptions, yada, yada, yada. He's a good additional piece to the depth on the defensive back position. So that's why I give it to frickin' Woodson, who is not a bad pick and fuck value at this point. So
yeah,
So-
that was the same shit that they gave it to Kevin Byard when he was drafted by the Tennessee Titans. But what you were trying to say, Andy?
I've got Bradbury's stats up here. His overall grade was a 60.1, only 40th out of 40 centers, which isn't that great. But his pass blocking grade was a 63, which was 23rd out of 40 centers. I mean, so he was kind of lower middle of the pack. I mean, he was by no means great, but I mean, he played ninth. He was ninth in overall snaps out of 40 ranked centers in the league, which is, I guess you could say a lot for a guy who's 30. I mean, he's not exactly young. He didn't allow any sacks. He didn't have any penalties.
4
Ninth-
hits allowed.
What was that?
4 hits allowed as a good quarterback hits.
4
allowed.
hits and 20 total pressures was 26. I mean, so it's not, those aren't really great either, but I mean, 0 sacks and 0 penalties. I mean, it's serviceable. I mean, and for how old he was a very serviceable center.
What scared me for a bit when we drafted him is that his run blocking was good. His pass blocking is where it scared me. This year it was completely different when basically his pass blocking grade was better, but his run blocking grade regressed. But here is so Nelson said his most underrated player of the year goes to Jalen Hawkins. Interesting. When he was a pick machine for
Who said Jalen Hawkins?
Nelson. So here's actually my most underrated player of the year. Kyrus Tonga. No one talks about the essential of needing a nose tackle. And I was like, who the hell is this guy? Some guy from the Arizona Cardinals. He only played for or snapped for the Vikings. He got his first sack against CJ Stroud. No surprise. Everybody's going to say the Texas offense was shit. But granted that he got his first sack against CJ Stroud, and the fact that he has been essential to that run game, the run defense, we gave him on a 1-year prove-it deal, and he has proved it multiple times. I think that Kyrus Tonga is going to be essential to that defensive line, and no one can debate that Kyrus Tonga is one of the most reliable players when it comes to like the depth of the defensive line. So I think Kyrus Tonga needs to be resigned, however, because he is going to be a pending free agent. Unless the Patriots franchise tag him. They gotta franchise tag him if they want to keep him. But let's now get to the most overrated player of the year. Starting with you, Andy.
TBD. I couldn't pick one.
Easy for me.
What?
Since you can think about it, Andy, let's get to Thomas.
Where is that fucking thing here? Where is that stupid notepad I had here?
Oh, I think I know the answer. I already know the answer.
If I can fucking find it, that is. It literally just went down the drain.
I think I know who you'll say, Thomas. I won't spill any beans, though.
Okay, now let me fucking find. Yep, there it is. I'm just gonna pull my soundboard.
Oh God, I know who it is.
Where the fuck is that? There it is. No, hold on for a sec here. Here is my overrated player of the year. Bacterian Low, who is garbage at his job, and he is the most hated player in this Patriots team, and I'm happy that he's a free agent. He's so awful.
Leah knew it was going to be him. God. How about you, Andy?
Out of one, I have to stay on the O-line. I was really excited when we drafted Jared Wilson. I wanted Jared Wilson in, the lead up to the draft, and I was surprised he fell to like 96th or 98th, wherever we got him. But he needs, after that Super Bowl, pretty much after the playoffs in general, he needs a lot of work. Again, I don't really, no offense, I don't really feel like pulling up stats right now, but he allowed like a bunch of sacks against Houston and Seattle. Like Tyler was saying, I mean, there was, he missed a block in the Super Bowl and allowed the defensive lineman to get, or the defensive end rather, to get right around Campbell and catch May for a sack. So he's got, both of those kids have a lot that they need to work on. And I think Vrabel and McDaniels are the guys to do it, along with Doug Marrone. But it's, with kid offensive linemen, it's a work in progress. I mean, it's been a black mark on us for a while. And like Austin said, I mean, the Seahawks have been building and building and building over the last several years. We had some really shitty drafts from when Brady left until this past season. But yeah, I think, I trust Wolf to be wise with the draft picks again. Mayo was pretty much in charge of it in 2024. But yeah, these young O-linemen, including Wilson, do have a lot they need to work on, but the coaching staff is the right one to do it.
I could see that being a possibility because I had so much faith in Jared Wilson, especially coming out in the draft. I thought he's going to be the best center. When they push him to left guard, I felt like left guard is not the best position for Jared Wilson. It should have been right guard, especially when I watched him in Georgia. He was more of a center, less so much of a guard. And
he's a center. He's 100% a center, and that is on the coaching staff. Sorry to cut you off, Dow, for having almost misread him at that position. I mean, hopefully they'll reevaluate it. I don't know. I trust that they will, but we shall see, because I don't.
It's hard,
especially after those playoffs. I don't want to see him at guard again.
I agree, but I think what they were trying to do is what the Eagles were trying to do when they have Cam Jurgens at guard while Jason Kelce was still at center. That's what I think they were trying to do. I think that's the biggest mistake they did. What I think they should have done is have Michael. I think that would be a stupid idea as well. But the problem with Jared Wilson is that he is 6'3" and Ben Brown is 6'5". Would you rather have a 6'5" at guard or a 6'3" at guard? Because basically Jared Wilson is 6'3". Unfortunately, he does not have the tangibles.
A guard has to be taller than the center. The center is short. Yeah, shift him.
There's a reason why I want David Edwards in the free agency, and we'll get to free agency at another time. But here's my most overrated player of the year, Pop Douglas. Granted, for his size, I think that he has not done much for this team. I am sorry, but I slowly but surely am not a fan of Pop Douglas. Especially when he's tiny, I get it. He's supposed to be the gadget guy, but he did nothing. His stats regressed. Especially that play at the end of the fourth quarter against the Steelers. That's why I was like, oh, forget it. He had moments here and there, especially that Falcons game. But I'm sorry. We could say bye-bye to Pop Douglas. I think Pop Douglas is the most overrated player for the Patriots. Granted that we needed a new wide receiver who has the height and be able to combat with like various quarterbacks and safeties. Pop Douglas, I'm sorry. He needs to go. He needs to be traded. I'm sorry. Let's go to most improved player of the year.
Who needs to be off the team?
Pop Douglas.
Fuck's sake.
I just can't. What has Pop Douglas done for me this season?
Diddly squat. The answer is simple. I mean, yeah, I liked Pop when we first drafted him, but even with Vrabel, it's like, okay, you've got Hollins, you've got Diggs, you've got Booty, and Kyle Williams is showing flashes.
Hell, even Chisholm is doing better.
And Chiz. Pop's the odd man out. Sorry, buddy. Away you go.
There's a reason why we're going to need a 6'4" wide receiver. And it can't be Pop Douglas. But let's get to most improved player of the year. Someone who has improved throughout the span. Whether it's from a different team or it's within the Patriots. Starting with you, Thomas, who is your most improved player of the year?
Somebody else could go here. They're trying to find someone on the roster and think I can find.
So I'm going to do this before I sign off. My most improved player is Drake May. As you guys know, I wanted Marvin Harrison Jr. in that draft. I've long thrown that idea out the window, Dow. And it's like, okay, May showed flashes under Mayo. I'm like, oh, geez, this kid, he had those games. It's like, at Buffalo, he looked really good, against Tennessee until he threw that pick. The Indy game, don't get me started on that oh so close missed field goal that wasn't really on May. But if I can just 2025, he threw for 4,394 yards and a 72 completion percentage, 31 touchdowns against 8 interceptions, an average rating of 113.5. I mean, a triple digit rating for a 22-year-old passer, 23-year-old passer. However, he's a kid, basically. Finding himself on lists including Aaron Rodgers and Pat Mahomes and Tom Brady. I mean, obviously he's not those guys. He's Drake May. But I mean, if you look at 2024, 2276, 2/3 completion percentage, 15 touchdowns against 10 picks for a rating of 88. He threw for nearly twice as many yards this season. A completion percentage is 72, and his touchdown interception ratio was miles better. He was arguably he was the most efficient passer in the league. Screw Josh Allen. So yeah, for me, it's Drake May, and Drake May needs to be protected. Like I said, the O-line needs work, which means maybe ship off Garrett Bradbury because he was serviceable last season and move Jared Wilson over to center. Then that means what? What do you mean no?
Bradbury's not moving out at center. He's a serviceable center. I'm sorry, he is not moving out of that position.
God damn it.
But yes, my most improved player is Drake May. I know I saw it. You guys saw it. We all saw that the O-line was the problem in the Super Bowl. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You want to take that next step.
What I think they could do is that this is gonna be stupid, but have Wilson be behind behind Garrett Bradbury and just go draft a left guard and just go get a left guard at free agency. That's the best they could do. But we could have a discussion on this in future weeks. But how about you, Thomas? Who is your most improved player of the year?
It's Drake May. The same reason with frickin' that Andy said.
Interesting. Yeah, I was gonna also go Drake May too, but I'm actually gonna go Jalen Hawkins. Jalen Hawkins for me improved, especially Jalen Hawkins. He had improved a lot, especially when no one doubted that Jalen Hawkins would improve, especially from his time with Atlanta heading into the Chargers. And I thought he didn't made an impact with during his first season with the Patriots. And I feel like Jalen Hawkins showed to me he has proved to why he's going to be your starting safety moving forward, especially when we shockingly released Duggar and Peppers. We had zero clue what we were going to do with the safety position. But when I found out that Jalen Hawkins has been balling out 5 interceptions from what I remember, let me look up Jalen Hawkins' stats. Jalen Hawkins, he had 4 interceptions, a 1.5 sack, 44 solo tackles. That is a huge improvement from last season, which he had 25 solo tackles, 0 sacks, and 0 interceptions. So that is a huge improvement for Jalen Hawkins and why he should be a future for the New England Patriots. That's my most improved player of the year. But let's get to most disappointing player of the year. We're almost done, guys. We got 2 more awards. So we got most disappointing player of the year. Who, you can quickly say it, Andy, who's your most disappointing player of the year?
All right, I did say I was going to log off, but if I want to go with disappointing player of the year, it's got to be Harold Landry. I mean, he was one of the signings I was most optimistic about to start the year, and then it's like, oh geez, coming into the season outside of Spillane, who in some cases really doubled as a defensive end, you're like, oh geez, linebacker is a sore need for this team because Harold Landry's I don't even think Harold Landry is that old. I think he's like 28.
It's like 29 right now or some sorts.
29. So turned 29 in June. It was actually his 29-year-old season. So not exactly young, but yeah, left a lot to be desired. He did have 8 sacks and 27 tackles on this season, but no forced fumbles and no picks. And that was after 2024 when he had 9 sacks. It wasn't actually 42 tackles for a loss. He wasn't actually that much better in 2024. Interesting. Wow. He was better in tackles, though.
So he had 8.5 sacks, but yes, he did. Unfortunately, that knee injury costed him, and I heard that he is going to get knee surgery. So I think that for most of the offseason, he's not going to be like available. So I would have to wait till training camp to see if Harold Landry will be available. Yeah, it sucks to see when you have a player who I had high hopes for to make an impact, but yeah, Harold Landry, unfortunately, that knee injury really cost him. He has been a shadow of himself. How about you, Thomas? You're muted again.
Thank you. Marte Mapu.
Why?
It's just he hasn't been proven this season because I'm sorry to say this, he hasn't been, because I'm sorry, like, yeah, I know you guys say it's gonna be Landry because he hasn't been to show himself here. Nobody has looked at what the hell is happening with Marte Mapu. He's not playing him like himself. He is like in a shell of himself ever since we got him here. He's more of a special teams guy, in my opinion. Mapu's just not it.
Interesting. Yeah, Martin Mapu did next to nothing for me. Why is he even still on this roster in the first place? I would rather cut him and go get me a better linebacker. Like, keep Christian Ellis, keep Tabai on a restructured deal, and keep Spillane. Get rid of Marte Mapu. I think he's a huge liability at this cost. You know what? Here's my huge disappointed player of the year. Bryce Baringer at punter. There were moments there where he has shamed the punts, and some of the punts were not forgiving, especially that Denver game. He punted to the point where some of the areas were like in almost towards our territory for the Denver offense. That was embarrassing from our punter. He could do a better job than that. So I feel like we need to, I hate to say this, but we might want to get a punter. So just to see if we can get competition between him and Bryce Baringer. Because I'm sorry, guys. That has to be another one of Belichick's botches, unless I think something is going wrong with Bryce Baringer. I don't know what the hell is going on with him. So he's my most disappointing player of the year. Next, we got to this is the most trickiest award I can think of, but most surprising player of the year. I don't know if I want to scratch that out, but let's go. Actually, you know what? Scratch that out. I don't know what I was thinking with most surprising of the year because I think it could be anybody. So, actually, let's conclude this stream with one more award. Assistant Coach of the Year. Which coach has made an impact for this team? Starting with you, Andy, which coach made an impact for this team?
I am going to say it is now official defensive coordinator-elect Zach Kuhr. I would say originally I was going to say Josh McDaniels. I was excited for Josh McDaniels through most of the season. I know it's like I know we had some guys in the chat bashing him, and I hate to admit it, but he kind of backed that up when the Super Bowl came along. Zach Core, I mean, the defense, whereas it's like was the beginning of the season, it's like, okay, the defense is going to be the strong suit for the Pats. You know, the offense is going to be next to the bottom of the league. And obviously the offense was not next to bottom of the league. You know, Drake May was the most efficient passer. But sorry for the digression. My assistant coach of the year is Zach Core. I mean, you know, he stepped up in the absence of Terrell Williams, who was obviously undergoing treatment for prostate cancer, and, you know, did a phenomenal job. You know, the Pats, I think, were a top 5. Were we a top 5 scoring defense, if I'm not mistaken? Double check that for me.
Double check it. I don't know. Defense ranking. In all categories. Sorry, guys, I'm using Yahoo.
Scoring defense. Hold on. I got it.
They are ranked a top tier in league for total yards allowed, among the best in the league for most fewest passing yards allowed per game. Run defense.
Yeah. The PA. What is PA? Points allowed. Yeah, we were the 4th ranked scoring defense. That's what I thought. Behind Denver, Houston, and Seattle.
We had the number 8th in total defense, 9th in passing defense, 6th in rushing defense, and 4th in scoring defense.
Top 5 scoring defense. That's what I thought. Yeah, and that is definitely
unfortunately we were 30th in red zone defense. Third down defense, we were 12th.
Passing defense 9th.
Yeah, behind, let me list them all. Bills, Vikings, Browns, Saints, Chargers, Texans, Broncos, and Eagles.
And 6th in rushing defense. Wow. So, yeah, those are all major improvements over last year. So, yeah, it's got to go to defensive coordinator Zach Core.
Thomas?
Zach Core. It's an easy pick.
You know, I'm going to say it myself. Zach Core is my assistant coach of the year because we had zero expectations of what we're going to see with Zach Core. And I feel like Zach Core, in my opinion, has showed time and time again that I think that he has a chance to be a defensive coordinator. I get the fact that when I heard that Terrell Williams was going to be promoted to some position that I think it's going to be assistant head coach, I feel like there's going to be a vacant defensive coordinator position. But I felt like we should get defense. We should get Zach Core to be promoted as after what he has done last season. My problem was, imagine if we got Jim Schwartz, because Jim Schwartz was still available, especially after what the hell is going on with the Browns. We could have him, but after what I saw last season, I think Zach Core is going to be defensive. He has potential to be defensive.
Also, there was a lot of fear that Vrabel would bring on Shane Bowen, and the fact that, you know, Core was not elevated a lot right away made people afraid of Shane Bowen. But here we are. It was, you know, Core got the official promotion for 2026.
Thankfully, he's now elevated, and we have Vinny DePalma, who is now inside linebackers coach. I could see Jim Schwartz being like a defensive consultant, or maybe a senior defensive assistant, or maybe have Shane Bowen as the senior defensive assistant. We don't know. But what I do know is that Zach Core is now the defense coordinator. If he continues to do wonders with our defense, there's no surprise that Zach Core will be a future head coach somewhere. And fun fact about Zach Core is that he is now the 4th youngest defensive coordinator in the league. 4th. That says a lot about how proven Zach Kerr is to our defense. But that's going to be it for today's live stream. I get it. It wasn't played out properly because a lot of shit happened. Austin, unfortunately, was busy and tired, so I think he needs well-deserved rest. And me, it's going to be hectic, especially regarding what has been going on this semester. So we're going to bring you some content regarding the offseason. It's not going to be like long lengthened, but we'll find out like how we're going to make it work with regarding our offseason content. But as you're leaving the stream, make sure you comment down below your winners on all of these players and coaches, whether it be MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, yada, yada, yada. List them all off in the comment section below. I would love to hear your thoughts on who your individual awards to your and my New England Patriots players and coaches. And as you leave the stream, and as you were leaving the stream, please make sure that you leave a huge thumbs up on the live stream. Then click the subscribe button. It's completely free and it helps us grow significantly here on this channel. And it can get to the algorithm through YouTube. Next, if I haven't already, join the Patriots Clubhouse Discord server. It's in the link and in the description down below. Plus, there's a QR code where you can scan for the Patriots Clubhouse Discord server. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, let's go Pats.
Let's go, Pat.